Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. We are back again today, and we are specifically talking about the United States, not United States, but South Carolina ballot measure Amendment 1. And once again, it's regards to voting, and mainly about being a United States citizen in order to vote. And in apparently what it's basically saying is that it's a little backwards, if you will. I just want to read the text so we can best get a better perception on what this ballot measure is saying. So this amendment would change the Constitution to say that only a citizen can vote instead of saying every citizen can vote. All right. Then again, it's making more sense here. It's because saying every citizen can vote, that means anyone that lives here can vote. That's a very big perception, and this is sort of what the conservative movement is trying to do, to try to prevent less voter fraud. To kind of install this idea, like, hey, only a citizen, meaning U.S. citizens, not residents. Citizen, like I said, is different than resident. Okay, totally different meaning. Citizen means you've paid your oath, you've paid your loyalship, you are from the city. A resident, you haven't really put your oath and loyalty to the city. It's kind of complicated, but that's sort of what resident and citizenship it's involving as. So obviously 85.9% saying only a citizen. It's not a really big deal. So people are like, sure, why not? And you'll see every single county overwhelmingly approve the ballot measure. I would say over 80% ratio. And understandably enough, 14.1% are probably the woke people that say, oh, I don't know why they're just saying no. You could say personality type. Oh, there's a chance that, why are we spending so much money on this silly ballot measure where we're just trying to change the word of the Constitution? Well, their reason and their way of thinking is saying, changing the Constitution goes a long way to help people understand that, hey, just because you live here, that does not mean you're a citizen. That's kind of what we've all grown up thinking, that, we're a citizen if we live here. Not necessarily. In order to become a citizen, you have to go through some sort of levels, like, once again, naturalization, and then again, being a citizen of this country is very different than being a citizen in your own city, right? You eventually become a citizen when you start paying taxes, when you start contributing to the city's wealth and its progress. Then guess what? You're more considered a resident. But then again, every resident has to pay taxes. Every resident has to obey the city rules. So then again, where does the line really draw? What's the difference between a resident? What's the difference between the citizen? I'll tell you, a citizen has more than one meaning. You are probably a citizen of said city. Then again, that means something more different than being a citizen of this country. Being a citizen or U.S. citizen, despite living here, being a U.S. citizen grants you some privileges that maybe residents of America, which means I would consider a immigrant, a resident, seeing that people that were born here are automatically counted as U.S. citizens. Residents, I would say, yeah, they're more immigrants. They have to obey the laws, etc. But ultimately, they don't have those privileges that U.S. citizens do get. And the thing is, we're not forbidding them from getting those privileges. They have to work for it. The deal is, once again, we have to make sure you're loyal to this country. You can't just enter this country and just, voila, you can now run for president and you can now vote in this election. We want to make sure you are serious, that you are loyal to this country, because part of the naturalization process is giving your up your ancient prejudices towards other countries. An example, if you're coming from Russia and you were once loyal to the Russian government and and supported against its enemies, meaning Russia has its opposition like Ukraine and Georgia and Europe. Those countries mainly oppose Russia overwhelmingly. And now you're saying, okay, I'm going to become a U.S. citizen now. You are giving up those ancient prejudices. You are no longer loyal to the Russian government. You are no longer, then again, supporting Russia in its efforts against its adversaries. And you're now adopting this new one, the United States. So it's important that we make sure that people are actually serious about this. That's how serious our naturalization process is. So you got 85.9% of common sense Americans coming out and voting. 14.1%, I don't necessarily know their sense of reasoning, but they are not in support of this ballot measure. And ultimately, looking at the ballot measure, you'll see Cherokee County overwhelmingly. I don't know where Cherokee County is, seeing that this map is completely blue, like ocean blue. 93% saying yes to this ballot measure in Cherokee County. 7% no there. And the county that said no the most is Charleston County, right here. And of course, it has the city of Charleston. You'll see the African-American counties are on board. They're very rural. Then again, they are Democrat strongholds because they're ancestrally Democrat. To be one, although they're kind of conservative, they're Baptist, they're Christian, but they're just ancestral Democrat, and they just do not know how to leave the Democrat camp. So it's kind of hard to see that, but yes, no got more support out of Charleston County than any other county, 23%. That's pretty good here. Obviously, good results there. But yeah, this pretty much concludes South Carolina. I'm glad we have so many of these ballot measures that come out. A lot of people say this is pointless. Why are we changing the language of the Constitution? Like, okay, maybe I think changing the language of like the deaf and dumb, like that one ballot measure from, I don't know, was it North Dakota? I think it was North Dakota that overwhelmingly decided to change that language, mainly because they thought it was inappropriate. It hurted people's feelings. I mean, yeah, you could find a way to change that, but in a more efficient time, like right now. At least this ballot measure is actually fixing an issue. Like, for instance, implementing election integrity, making sure our elections are secure, that we aren't sending mixed messages, because we are kind of sending mixed messages when we say every citizen can vote. But a lot of people cannot tell the difference between a resident and a citizen, so that's most people honestly don't think of it as different terms. So it's kind of hard to say, hey, every citizen can vote, and then you go and say, oh, only U.S. citizens can vote. But a lot of you clearly said every citizen can vote. That can be confusing, and that's what South Carolina is kind of coming out and doing right now. So what do you guys think in regards to this ballot measure, the only ballot measure in South Carolina? Let me know down below. And as always, I'll see you all in the next political episode.